Hey, residents of Meepletown, it is 4,000 years ago, and we
That's a
are
long time
in
ago.
the oldest known urban settlement in the Americas, in Corral, Peru.
Uh-oh.
John and I are going to be building
Boom.
up pyramids together, but working against each other. Let's get to the table and check out Corral.
All right, Meepletown, stop clapping every time I say that. We have Corral set up. We're ready to play.
We're Corral set up to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh.
Like
No,
that?
that was not bad. Wow. A little.
That just came to me. I didn't think about that beforehand. That was not scripted.
You've been thinking about it all night long.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for weeks.
All right, so we're ready to roll with this game. We're actually ready to roll with this
To
game.
literally
How about
roll
that?
with this game. Except we're not actually ready to roll the die yet.
We're not. All right, so let me just kind of briefly share with you. Now, we are playing with every single expansion. Every module, I mean. So every module is on the table. We'll play all of them. We're going to probably play through one round, maybe part of the second, to share
I'm sweating a little
what
bit.
all the modules are like. I am too, but I think it's just because it's kind of hot in this room, actually. It's a little warm in here. Okay, so on our turn, we are going to be building up pyramids here, and they're going to score us points at the end of the game. On our turn, I kind of said that, and then I started going to what the end of the game is. I realized that I should probably share what the point of the game is first.
Points.
What do you think?
The points.
It's
are the
points.
of
It's
the game.
victory points. At the end of the game, for however many pyramids we have out and completed pyramids, they're size 5, they're size 3 pyramids. We're going to score points. How about that? We're
Yeah.
also going to be getting points over the course of the game. As we build the pyramids, the faster you build them, the more points you have. And then in some of the modules, we're going to score points, like the module up here. Those are going to be your race 2 cards. But on our turn, I'll go back to that.
What's the point, John?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Okay, and then at the end of the game, most points.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We will be rolling. We're going to be moving an architect around. And basically, Dean and I are going to be going around this spiral towards the end for an annual celebration. And we're going to be taking actions, very simple, like pretty simple, on these action spots as we go around the spiral, and also building pyramids. It's pretty straightforward. The base game is, but you start adding the modules, you got some stuff to go on. So
That's why I'm sweating. There's a lot. That's a lot with everything.
it's
thrown
not
in
that
there.
much.
We can
It's
handle it.
really not. He's
We
just
can handle it.
yeah. Okay. So you want to go first or second, or do you want to?
We should probably lay our dudes down here.
We're going to here. Oh, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. Let's see who goes first. Daddy goes first.
All right.
Okay. Since
No. It's whoever has last seen
Oh,
an
you're
alpaca.
but so it's me.
Why is that?
Whoever's last seen, so that's you. I've been to alpaca farms frequently, and that's not a joke.
I have an alpaca as a pet.
Really?
That is a joke.
That is not
real.
true.
I wish I did.
Um,
Do they spit?
I'm alpaca in a punch for you if you
The-
keep these puns going. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty good.
That's all right. All right, so you're going to be first.
No, you're first. Oh, placing my pyramid.
Because it
I
says
got you.
who has last seen. No, it says who has last. No?
You saw it, so
Is
you're
that what it
first.
says?
Plus your dude fell out, so you're first. But I get to place my pyramid first.
Okay, okay. No, I do.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Also, I'm only going to get one
Oh, that's
of
right.
the stones. Dean's going to get 2. In a 2-player game, we're both going to get 4 resource cards, which we'll talk about that as we progress through the game. I'm going to take one of my Corrali, and I'm going to go ahead and set up my first building spot, and it's a level 5 pyramid. And I can go ahead and start building anywhere. I'm going to choose to build right smack dab here in the middle.
Hey, you got smart that time.
I know. I was messing it up the other game. Now, do any of those have to do with building 2 beside each other? Nope.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
No,
Okay,
there's
so it
one of
doesn't
them
matter
that does
this one.
that, and I kept for some. Never mind. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Just,
All right.
they don't need to hear our business.
That was a consistent mistake John was making in the last game. I'm actually gonna go.
And yet, I
Over
still
here.
somehow won the game, even though I was making some dumb moves.
I am. What does that say about me?
You win most games,
All
man.
right. So I'll put my Corrali
60%.
here. All right. Right there. I'm ready to go.
That's right.
It's a little farther away than I normally do that, but
So what's going to happen is, since I'm first player, I am going to roll this. Ooh, if there were a choice, which there are in some of them, like a 1 or a 2, I get to pick where the architect goes. But since there is no choice right now, the architect is going to go to this spot.
oof.
Now, both Dean and I start with 4 movement points. You can see our alpaca. Isn't that cute? Let's just pull that up there. Alpaca, pulling our sled here. Okay, with one stone.
That was a
and
pretty
it tells you
alpaca
4.
punch. That was a good line.
Really?
I
Okay.
like that.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Anywho, I can move 4 movement points. Now I have to, movement points count at these worker placement spots, or if anyone has a pyramid being built. If someone has a Corrali out here, basically marking the spot as theirs, that you don't have to use a spot for that. So over the course of the game, you're going to want to get more movement. And there's also going to be a card here. Whoever achieves 7 movement points first gets a 3 points.
Oh, there is that's a good motivation there.
I forgot. Oh, Dean. We're supposed to
We have to put our Corrali in there. I was going to say it, but I was waiting for you to finish talking.
My bad. We both... Oh, sorry. You want to lay them down. Oops. How
Well, yeah,
about
everyone
that?
can
How
see
about
it.
we just start with 2 in my spot?
So apparently, John gets to start with 3, and I start with
Do you want me to lay
2
these
or
down?
1.
2?
Yeah, sure.
Lay them all down?
I don't know how well you can see this. By the way, I don't know if you mentioned this already. All this is prototype. These are all 3D printed materials because this is a preview.
It is a preview. Okay, so I've got 4 movement points. I cannot go here because, interestingly, in this game, you cannot do any actions behind the architect. So I can go to the architect spot here. So I've got a choice where I could go 1, 2, 3, or 4. I could get a llama. I could go ahead and grab a couple resource cards, which resource cards are super valuable. But I'm going to get 1 stone per Corrali. It really stinks that I only have 1 there, which seems tough. But man, I've only got 1 stone. If I were Dean, I would probably skip this.
Yep.
But I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and go here and take my 1 stone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, you said if you were me that you would do that. The only problem I'm running into, though, is I don't know if I want to, because one of these cards is if I load my 4 stones onto my sled, that would give me 3. Now, it's going to be a while before I come back around to this spot, if that's where I get that.
It's possible I can still beat you with that.
It is true. That's very true.
So this first spot, again,
especially
is super simple.
I want to build up but I do think
getting 1 stone per Corrali in this particular quarry.
I think I might jump over that, even though I don't feel great about it. It's going to mean that I'm not going to be able to load 4, but I don't think I would anyway, because I'm probably going to stop here and build up on some of my pyramid. You'll see that in a little bit.
Now, resource cards are really valuable for 2 reasons. One is if you have matching resource cards, you can get a special or bonus action on your turn. Also, in the annual feast, they're going to be very, very important. And you know what? Before I take my turn, let's just mention something that's very important with this module up here. Is at the end of this round. Oh, we forgot to do Whim of the God. No, we didn't. We didn't explain that.
Oh, yeah, we
explained
just
2 things about these modules. This says at the end of the round, whoever has the most Corrali in the stone in the quarries is going to score 3 points. Second most gets 1 point. Also, whoever's the furthest behind on this spiral here is going to become the starting player. So when we get to this spot right here, that's going to start the annual feast or celebration. So we're going to kind of want to get more in there, which is actually perfect for the first round, because you're going to it'll help build an engine for getting more stone. Secondly, the Whim of the Gods module. So these are 2 separate modules here, and this module is not this one. Okay, this is something separate. We just set it on the side there to make it look a little bit prettier. It says that during the celebration, if we don't sacrifice in a 2-player game 6 combined resources, then everyone but the player who gave the most sacrifice is going to lose a Corrali off one of their spots. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal, especially early in the game. So, and you'll see the way the celebration works out. But anyway, so I'm going to be thinking about that as I take my turn this next round. Wow. The architect again moves 2 spots. And y'all, that is the furthest the architect can move.
That helps me.
So that's not good for me.
Although it kind of hurts both of us in a sense.
So I'm going to have to go 1, 2. So it hurts me because I can't stop here and keep building my pyramid, which is a huge way to score points in the game. The biggest way, probably, besides that, and the celebrations at the end of the year and those. So that is 1, 2 spots, 3 spots. Here's the thing that stinks. I can only go 4, which means I cannot stop at Dean's. The only ones that I can stop at are my own, but Dean's counts as a place for me. So I have literally no option right now but to go here and to get a llama. Now, I'll share this module, this emissary module. And again, whether we mentioned it or not, you can play with no modules or 1 or 2. That's really cool about this.
Yeah.
But we wanted to show all of them because we wanted to be like, hey, maybe we want to be the only Kickstarter video where we're like, boom, we're going to play with all these suckers. Huh?
Everything. Or everybody's going to do that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, probably. So I can get, oops, I grabbed a Corrali. So this spot lets me grab a llama. Now, what I can do is increase my movement actions with my sled, which would be helpful because if I had 5, I could have gone there on this round. Or I can send it out to this emissary, and whenever I match a alpaca and a Corrali together, I'll get 1 victory point plus a stone. Victory point can be a pretty big deal in this game, all the way up to 2 as we progress up this. But also, whoever completes these diplomatic actions the first. And whoever has, so if I finish this one first, I would grab this. Let me just say that. And that's 4 points at the end of the game. If Dean finishes this, I still am winning. But if Dean jumps ahead and finishes the second step before I do, he now gets this.
Right. So
there's some back and forth action on that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and simply increase my sled because I just need to do that right now, I feel like.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Dean?
Well, I've got this is a tough challenge. So I can move 4 spots just like John, which means I can go 1, 2, 3, all the way up here. Now, the tough part is that John has been rolling nothing but 2s, which means
it's making this round go fast.
If you roll another 2, that we're going to skip over this spot right here, which is not good for either of us because we want to get more of our Corrali into those locations.
Both of us wouldn't mind getting that fully load stone.
That's right. That's right.
He also has this right here.
Yeah.
So he has a decision, like, does he want to go for the 2 points or go ahead and start building his pyramid?
But I do think what I will do is skip over this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I will stop here, and I'm going to build on my pyramid.
Yeah.
Which means I'm probably potentially giving this up to John, that loading 4 stones.
Oh, there's a fly
hanging out
Get
here.
Out of here.
Loading 4 stones on your transport sled. I might just have to forget about that for a little bit because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do 2.
Wow.
I'm going to go 2. So initially, I was about to take it out of the supply there. So I'm going to pay 1 to build the next level of my pyramid. So
it's really
put that
cool
up
how
there.
these stack together.
Yeah,
I know you like that.
The components in this are, well, in their prototype, but they're
still
pretty
really
incredible.
Good, yeah.
The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play 2 of these cards, which I'll show these up here, saying that if I get rid of these, I can build the next level on my pyramid.
There's the potential, if you have the right cards, to build 3 levels in one turn. No more than that.
Yeah.
We'd have to discard 4 cards, and you cannot use the same power twice in the same turn.
Right.
So if Dean had 4 of those cards, he could not use it. There's just 2 different types of resources that allow you to do the same thing.
That's right. That's right. But what it did, so John didn't have a chance to get cards here, and that made me feel better about placing 2 cards and getting rid of those and doing that. So anyway, I'm doing pretty well on that pyramid.
2 more and he finishes the pyramid.
That's right.
Would score 3 points. And then because this is a level 5, this is worth 10 points at the end of the game. The level 3s that you could do are only worth 5.
And each 1 point for each round that
That's
I have that completed. So
the architect never has movement points that are counted on the pyramids. The architect only goes to the big worker placement spots. So I have a choice now to only send them 1 or 2. I'm going to only send them 1 so that I can go here and grab a Corrali. Now, I'm making, and go ahead and place it here. And the reason I'm doing, and I wouldn't be telling you this, is I want to win this. I wouldn't mind getting the 3 points. But also, since I'm first player, if I only roll a 1, then I could put it here and go ahead and snake that 2 points up because I would load up my sled. So
that's right. And I knew,
push your luck in this.
I knew that was going to be a risk for building this temple, but honestly, at this point, it wouldn't have mattered at that point because John would have been able to get it for me anyway. I'm going to do the exact same thing.
That's right. I would have done the same thing of you because of the same thing.
What's that?
I would have done the same thing of you because of the same thing.
I don't even know what that means right now.
All right. There we go, baby. All right, so I'm only going to send the architect 1. I will come over here, and I will get 2 stone because I have 2 Corrali there. And then I will go ahead and grab this card that load 4 stones into my sled. And I'm going to immediately score 2 points. You start on 5.
Game over, man.
Game over, man.
You probably mentioned this. You might even just figure this out. But you've got these spots along the way that until you start building, you don't actually count those when you're moving. So I'm doing the exact same thing. That's the only reason
I just put your guy in the quarry.
Yep.
Is he going to go help?
He is. So I get 3? I get 3 stone then if I do that?
No,
if he helps?
He's cheating.
All right, just 2.
Just call him Cheating Dean.
So same thing. I needed to build up my stones so that I could work on some more pyramids.
Now I'm really hoping I don't roll a 2 because I need resources badly.
We both do.
That was one of the negatives to going there was that, and you'll see it here at the annual festival, 1 or 0.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go 0.
Okay.
How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna come down here, and I know you're gonna do the same thing probably. Let me see what I have first before you. Okay, I think I'm good actually.
You're not going to play anything.
There's
else.
a card that allows you to do a double action, which is if you give up 2 fish. So I could technically give up 2 fish to draw 2 more cards, like if I didn't like having 2 fish in my deck. At the annual festival, why Dean is thinking, we're going to be giving up these resource cards, and basically the more the merrier. So we're trying to match resource cards for that.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I know that I'm going to go here and get these resource cards. Part of this reason is that there is, and sometimes the first round too, you can kind of mimic what the other person's going to do. We haven't actually until these last 2 rounds.
No, there's been some different moves here.
But there is that potential in the first round, and then after you start building up pyramids, it changes drastically. Now,
yeah,
there's the collect 10 resource cards that I'm looking at, and I got rid of 2 earlier so I could build another level. Again, taking a risk that I could, maybe not be able to get that one at all. Now I can play some cards right now. I'll just go ahead and show you. So there's the alpaca cards. If you play 2 of those, you can move up to 3 spaces and then take the action of pyramid or. Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me say something I forgot to mention, which I think is really cool in this game. You can go forwards or backwards.
Yeah.
You just can't do the action if you're behind the architect.
Right. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Dean could technically, he might not want, he could technically use that or whatever, or on his regular move, could go back here and grab 2 more stone.
And that's what I'm considering right now. So I could go back now.
Really
but
cool.
What I couldn't do is go all the way back to my pyramid and build that up because, again, just like John said, you have to be past the architect. Ugh, I kind of want to, but the problem is I don't want to miss out on getting those cards either. Having that stone going into that next round, it's I can't pass it up.
Okay.
And I hate that because I'm really, really potentially messing myself up in the future. So I'm going to go back.
But you could really jump ahead and
go ahead and just load this up. So I'm ready for stone. So that now in the next,
because you would only get 1 if you went there.
That's right. So I can skip ahead of that later on.
And he could. And the thing is as you're putting Corelli out, which is cool, is why it shifts so much is you can put them in one of these building spots here. So people are going to put them in different building spots. Maybe some are going to choose to send them out as emissaries.
Yeah.
Like there are several choices, and the game really does shift around.
And
so that could have been stupid for me. Actually, I should have moved 1, knowing that could have helped Dean. I probably should have.
Yeah, but I don't really need those as much as cards. What I'm hoping is that didn't happen. My hope was that I was going to be able to get 2 more cards. That was the risk that I was taking.
Yeah,
and it did not pay off, but that's okay.
So I have some really interesting decisions here because I could go ahead and I would love to get more Corelli out on the board, even start another building site potentially, so I can at least have a couple going. I also wouldn't mind jumping ahead here on the emissary. I also, though, wouldn't mind, and I'm going to go ahead and just get another alpaca because if I could get 7 movement points off the bat. Now, I could go ahead and start it up here. I'm not going to. If I can get 7 and go ahead and achieve that, that's worth how many points? 3 points. Sorry, I was going to say 4. 3 points. I'll take those 3 points. Knowing that there's actually going to be, as we build pyramids, and you may not see this, I'll share it at the end so you know everything about all the modules. This little icon means I can move a Corelli. But I can't move a llama. Or alpaca, sorry. We were calling them camels.
Horses,
I can't move
goats,
that.
whatever.
Oh, that's interesting. Man, getting that 7 movement points is not bad, but that also means I'm using those up. Ooh. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's my decision.
I'm going to take a risk here, John.
I don't know if I should have done that.
You ready?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3,
just end
4. And let me tell you why I'm doing that, John.
Put it in the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It keeps spinning on me.
Okay.
Like a disco. It's the discotheque for that.
Here, if you go ahead.
My dude there.
Okay, that's what I was gonna do.
So there is one of these cards right here. You get 3 points. You win an annual ceremony if you. I
was hoping to snake that up,
and you win it. Now here's the problem. We flip this card over. I only have 1 card in here that can really benefit me.
So this is only in a 2-player game, FYI.
Oh,
because, okay, so let me show you what happens in a 2-player game. Do you want to flip it?
Okay.
That was good for you.
That was good for me, yeah.
So Dean, there's only 4 resources in your deck. Dean has to play another type of resource besides the alpaca. He plays as many as he wants.
I am sacrificing my next round to do that because I will play 3.
Ooh.
I'm going to play 3, and that's going to sacrifice me being able to build more on my temple whenever I land in that spot.
Right.
But
now
I don't know if you're going to play higher than that.
So here's the thing. Whoever plays the highest is going to score points according to the tempo level. If you don't play a card right now, so let's just say all I had in my hand were alpacas and these blocks here, or bricks. I couldn't play anything because you have to play something different. I would score -1 point for not playing anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you play something, anything, so if I play any other card here, I'm going to score 1 point for that. Dean is going to score, if he wins, which he will, a couple points.
It's only 2 this round.
Yeah, for having that. And as the game progresses, it gets more and more valuable to win this, which I think is really cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, oops, I can't play the llama. I'm going to play 1 fish, which is not that bad for me because I don't have to give up that many resources. Dean's going to get 1 more point, but I don't really care. I get 1.
Yep.
He gets a couple for winning that.
But I had to spend 3 cards.
You did.
Yeah.
And these are all going to go to the discard pile. Now, something else that's going to happen at the end of the festival with this module up here is what I mentioned before.
Oh, let me go ahead and take this first. So
you get that.
So if I
That's right.
started
That's
that
pretty
ceremony
good.
and I won it, so that gives me 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
There you go. Taking the lead on the points.
You're going to get all the other ones, so I might as well snake
Well,
one
we'll
if I can
see.
get it.
Now, we both have the same amount of Corelli out. Am I wrong? 1,
We do,
2,
yes.
3, because you didn't start another one. Okay, so we're going to tie here and both get the 3 points.
Yeah.
So go ahead and give us 3 points if you don't mind. Now, that's okay for me because I'm going to get to go last because I'm furthest behind on this.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to get to go first because I'm last or furthest behind on this. So I like controlling first place.
I do too.
It can be pretty nice, and you kind of have a lead on that. So that will be the end of the round. I'm going to flip this over, and it's going to kind of keep track of what round we're in. If the game is going to be triggered to end whenever all 7 pyramids, or when 7 pyramids have been built, or at the end of the 7th year. Every game I've ever played, we've built the pyramids before the end of the 7th year. And that is most frequent, I believe, is what it says in the rule book. However, it could be triggered that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me show you the last. We've mentioned all the modules except for the Anaconda.
It doesn't want none.
Oh, that was good.
Nah, maybe
Yeah,
a little PG-13.
No, that's good.
But okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Unless my mother's watching. What I get to do, because I'm first place here, is I get to place this. We could do this in order. No, I don't care. I place this, and I'm going to be blocking a spot.
Yeah.
I have tons of stone. So does he.
We both do. Yeah.
And so that I don't know, but it's intriguing.
I only have 1 card.
He only has, and that's probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because it's part of me is like I'm whipping him here, so it doesn't really matter. I know I'm going to probably go there. I think the right move is obviously to do what Dean said. It's kind of an obvious move at this point. Now, this means that we cannot use this action unless we feed one of our alpacas to the anaconda. So if I wanted to lose one of these, I could do this action, which isn't all that bad.
Well, it is for the alpaca.
Well, it is. But for me, it goes back to the supply, so maybe I could fill up 7 and then, put it back here so I could use it up here in the emissaries or something, which isn't all that bad. Or we can give up a stone and lose 2 victory points.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have tons of stone, if we're like, you know what, I'll lose a couple victory points because I'm desperate for cards, Dean could do that. But
2 victory points can be big in this game.
That's right.
Potentially.
The other 2 things that happen, now this doesn't happen unless you have this module, but the other 2 things that always happen at the beginning of the next round is we gain resources for however many buildings, pyramids we've started. Dean and I have both only started 1, so that would be another advantage to have done another one. And we also, if someone has built a level 5, it's so cute. You can put your Corelli on top of the temple. It slides in the spot. Let me see that.
There we go. Let me give you both.
It's pretty sweet, actually. It looks cool. I'm putting it on top of yours.
Again, prototype material, so it's probably going to be better in the final
So
version.
you got that, and you actually will put it up there. And if you have that, then you're going to score a point for every Corelli that you have on top of that. So that can be a little point building engine.
Oh yeah,
Say.
yeah.
Besides that, the next round would start. But I think this is good, right?
Yeah. I think that gives you a great idea of how the game plays out. And one thing is interesting while we have the board up here right now is how it changes from game to game.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't want to move into the gameplay thoughts, but while we're looking at this, all these get shuffled in, which changes that. These change everything. But
we did not do that.
Oh, we did it for the first round.
Actually, that
no, we didn't. No,
that
we didn't.
actually
That's right.
totally changes the game.
It does.
And what actually would have changed what I would have done.
Let me hold that up there, by the way. We mentioned it, but we didn't show that.
I actually would have given up more cards to equal the 6 on there.
Yeah.
Which I have the cards, the resources to do that. So that would have actually stunk for me, but I would have. Okay. Which meant I wouldn't have given up the Corelli, but he still would have won because even if we tie, which would have happened, if he went to here first, he actually breaks the tie.
You had 3 of a kind. You just did. Yeah.
So
that would have
anyways.
been different.
Yeah. So that would have been a different ending, but I wouldn't have lost that. And then another one of those would have flipped over.
And it could have potentially changed where you would have placed the
That's
anaconda
right.
by not placing it.
That's right.
Potentially. But
So anyway, sorry about that. Screwed that up. But also, before I leave, before we talk about the gameplay, I want to talk about these real quick. I mentioned this briefly, but whenever the first person builds a pyramid, they're going to grab this. And now they have to place it on this symbol. So it's either this spot. But there's a stack of those. So these are not the only ones that come out. It's really cool. And that shifts the game up every time. But this will mean instead of just placing a Corrali, not only do you place one and then you can move, then you move one. Mm-hmm. So I can move one from over here to over here, or from one quarry to the next quarry. Or the only thing that you cannot do ever is move one over here from one of these building spots here. So, because this is actually marking where you're, whose that is. We wouldn't be able to keep up with.
Yeah, once they start building that pyramid,
you get a lot.
That's their life.
They're done. That's
forever.
it. They're
That's
stuck
all they can ever do
for the rest of their lives.
Not as much fun as working in the quarry, is it?
I guess not. But I think that we kind of shared. Yeah, we've shared all the other modules. So
I agree. And so let's go ahead and move on to the art and components again. As with all of our preview videos, we don't full on talk about the art and components because these are 3D printed. Some of this could change. Some of the art could change. But based on what we have, what do you think?
So,
well, yeah,
art and components. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to go first?
No, I do.
Okay,
I love the art. I'll go ahead and say that. I really enjoy the art.
I'm gonna pull this rule book up. We don't have a box cover, but I'm just gonna show. I think that looks fantastic.
I do too. On the cards, everything is done really well. It's just this very I don't know how to describe it. Like a classical cartoon style is the vibes that I'm getting from this in a good way.
There's
in a really good way.
Board. Yeah.
And obviously, when you're looking at these pieces, this is what really draws me.
Yeah.
And I'll put these together. And John, you've got the center pyramid too. So when you put them all together, that's what that thing's going to look like. It's giant.
And there's the center pyramid.
Yeah.
And it feels good when that's built. It's kind of hard to see.
It's kind of games that you're building up, like you can feel something building up. The whole theme of this game
feels
is
satisfying.
Building up the city of Corral.
Yeah.
Corral. I don't know if I said that right, but anyway, and it actually feels that way as these pyramids go up, especially with more players. You're building more pyramids. So.
And as Dean said, they are 3D, and there's in the prototype, there's several of these that they're going to be. You'll see in the Kickstarter, but they're going to be even better than what we have here. And for what we have here, this is good. Mm-hmm. I'm very, very happy with this. I agree with Dean. I like the art a whole lot. The only complaint I have is the spiral, the way it works. Uh-huh. It takes a game or so to kind of I don't know what it is. If you don't recognize, which you should, that these arrows, which I'm so thankful they have arrows pointing to this building, because if not, you might start counting these on this spiral. But since it's kind of little, you can forget that at the beginning a little bit. I actually sometimes would accidentally skip to the next one because it's just kind of thin, like a thin spiral, and go one, and then went, oh shoot, I messed that up. And everything's kind of that same tannish color. Uh-huh. I'm glad they have a maroon right there, but that's the only small complaint is that my eyes. It took me a minute the first time to kind of grab that. You did too, right?
It did, yeah. The first game you corrected me a few times where I'd moved too far. You're like, hey, you just skip past that pyramid. Yeah. And the thing is, the board art is beautiful.
It's great. Yeah.
I love looking at it. It can be a little busy, but I don't want the art to be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I think that just getting past a game or two where you're like, okay, I realize I need to count these spots as I'm moving along, and hopefully that fixes it. It has for us, but I see what you're saying for sure.
And then that's minor. Everything else is stellar.
Yep.
Funtel's always comes. They're just putting out incredible art, incredible components, killing it.
That's knocking it out of the park.
That's just the reality. Okay, so let's talk about the gameplay. In Kickstarter previews, as Dean said, we do not give our final thoughts. We're really here to help you see, is this something that you want to back?
Yeah.
So, who wants to back this game?
Well, I think I do.
Wow.
I enjoy it.
Coming right out of the gate, swinging, baby.
I think somebody who likes, this is going to be kind of weird. We've compared it to Taverns of Tiefenthal, which... Is that what you were going to say?
We haven't shared it. This is Klaus Jürgen Reed.
Oh, that's right. Well, there we go. So that might be a reason.
I want to say that.
Yeah.
Carcassonne? Anyone heard of a game called Carcassonne before?
Never heard of it.
Okay. Taverns of Tiefenthal. Go. What were you saying about that?
So this game is nothing like Taverns of Tiefenthal.
I don't know where you're going with this.
It's a dice drafting game. That is.
I don't know where you're going with this.
But what is cool about Taverns of Tiefenthal is you're adding in these modules. So it starts off as a really pretty basic game. And this is the same way. It starts off as a pretty basic game. When you add in these modules, it's not heavy. Just like Taverns of Tiefendal, it's not a heavy game even with everything. But it adds quite a bit and a lot more things to think about. You know, you have to think about player position. You have to think about then where do I put my Corrali here, or you know, where do I put my alpacas there or here. It adds those decisions, but you don't have to have it as that heavy if you don't want it. And I like that. I think that's cool in games.
Yeah, so you can teach it. So if you like lighter weights or you want a kind of a family type game, I wrestle with how much. Like I'm thinking of my boys, 11, 13, 8. Not all of them, I don't know, could super grasp the concept of being really efficient. Like this is all about,
and they're not huge board gamers.
Yeah, they're not. But this is all about efficiency, right? Like getting this and being able to most efficiently build the pyramids, most efficiently use your cards, when to tactically use them, all those kind of decisions. I sat back and I said, I don't know. Maybe they would pick it up, but I don't. I think they would. But I don't know. I don't think my 8-year-old would know how to play. So it's definitely heavier than that. Like I think he would struggle with that. Not maybe other 8-year-olds wouldn't, but mine is just not there yet.
But the base game itself could be a very entry level game.
But it absolutely could be an entry level to kind of like even like a Rondell style game. Even though you can go backwards, but you know what I mean. You kind of have to keep pushing. I think that's really cool. But I definitely like how you could have. I love the idea of like the way Glenmore 2, Funtails did with Glenmore 2, how you can just add modules to it. Like you said with Taverns of Tiefendal, how you can add modules to it. Because I could play with people who are just as a gateway game with no module. Yeah. Or maybe I'll throw like, you know, these in, which I think is pretty simple and straightforward. Or, you know, a little bit heavier gamers, I can throw 2 in or 3 in, you know. But I will say, like Taverns, even when you add, I totally agree with Dean, all the modules, it still feels like about a 3 weight to me. You think it's heavier than that? I don't think it is.
No, I was thinking
even lighter, maybe even lighter than that.
2.8 to 3 somewhere around there, which is my jam.
Yeah, which is what. So here's the thing, like, so if you want like this ultra heavy game, that's not what this is.
Yeah,
just straight up. So if you are like a heavy Euro player, I don't think that this would be for you unless you're looking for a game that you can play with folks that it's not super ultra heavy. But the decisions are fun in this game.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that at all, or?
Yeah, because there's a lot of things you have to think about when you're. And again, we're going to go ahead and approach it from the angle of all the modules that we've got in there. When you're thinking about taking this action, for example, to place your Corrali, well, where do I want to place it? Like, it would be really beneficial to get them out here, and depending on, you know, deciding which one you want to place at which quarry to get your stone, or do I want to place it up here because, hey, I can get a lot of points up there, and I can still get some stone and maybe some cards in there. That's interesting.
And that 4 points is big in this game.
It really is. It really is. And then deciding how far you want to jump out ahead, too, which is, I like that in Rondels anyway.
I do, too.
But in this one, with this architect, that really changes the way you think about that.
You know, I'm not a big luck kind of guy, but I like that because it's all mitigate. Like, you know it's going 0, 1, or 2. So you could push your luck like Dean did here going, okay, as long as he doesn't roll a 2, I'm fine. And you know the percentage chance. And so you can't really cry about it. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? If you do it that way, I think it's fun.
I do too. And that push your luck element, some people might not like that, but it doesn't feel like it's not like a can't stop kind of push your luck, but it is. But it is interesting because even having the spot on here on the die that has 0 movement, I love that. I'm glad it's 0, 1, or 2 because then you really can take a chance. You know, I can stay in this spot where the architect, or stay closer to the architect so that I can then move back, and if that doesn't move, I love that. I think that's really interesting.
So there are some take that elements in this game too. That's okay. So like the Anaconda, which, you know what, if you don't like it, then don't play with the module. Yep. That's what I think is really cool. But this could feel a little takey thatty because whoever's controlling it decides, you know, like. So there could be some people that don't like that about it. It kind of reminds me a little of the Provost in Kalis, you know, like a little bit. But, you know, they're only going 0, 1, or 2, and I like it. Like, it's I don't care about take that personally, but I don't feel like I feel like it's just good strategy. Like, well, I can't let Dean take that. And I don't know, that didn't bother me at all, but I do want to mention that. I also want to mention that I personally like this kind of race to elements of some of these things. Like, the faster you build these, the more points you're going to get, right? But I could also slow play and be like, you know what, forget this. Let Dean score these points. I'm going to get the 10 points at the end of the game by building 3 level 5s. That's 30 points. Yeah. And he might score most of these because it might take me till the end to score some of that. But I like that. But also, like, you have the Race 2 with this module. I love that module. You know I love those cards and like Race to Point. Cards, I love those kind of things in games. So that's absolutely fantastic. And then lastly, I'll just mention I love the pool between the resource cards. The way this game has a lot of what I like about it. Simple things that are tough decisions.
Yeah.
Like really difficult. Like, man, I want to, like Dean, he gave up 3 of those cards to win that card. To get the 3, no, you didn't get the 3 points, but to win that card and to score those points there and to win the annual festival. But he's not going to get a play like the extra stone here. And he could be thinking, I could finish this next round.
Yep.
Like, I could use that card and the action, finish that. I could put a Corrali on there and start getting 1 victory point every round. If it went 5 or 6 rounds, that's worth 5 or 6 points. But I'm going to choose to do this.
Yep. Yeah, and that becomes so interesting. And you mentioned that player interaction part can be as much or as little as you want. I don't think that this piece is in your face take that. I think because oftentimes you have to think about how it's going to benefit you. The Anaconda can be more in your face, but you don't have to add that in there. But where this game really shines, it comes from exactly what you were saying, John, those racing to this, racing to get the points here, racing to get these, racing to get to the end potentially, so that you could set off the celebration to benefit you before it benefits the other person, before they can take actions. But none of that feels mean at all, and I love that. That's the kind of interaction.
There could be times you're like, dang it, Dean, I can't believe you did that, but I'm not like mad about it.
Right.
Which I think
you
is
did
really
flip
cool.
that table that time. Wow, that's really harsh.
I knocked the pyramids off, so you get that out of here.
You're already winning the game, John.
Let me say the last thing about this game, and we don't do final thoughts, so this is the last thing as you're trying to decide. And it goes back to the module. So when I've played Klaus-Jürgen Reed games, and even he did the Highlander, right? The Highlander module
I think that's right.
For Glenmore 2. He typically does a lot of simple things that are smart. And that's why when we go back to Taverns of Tiefenthal, again, this game is not like that, but the modules work the same because the modules are simple. Like, it doesn't take much time at all to learn any of these. Some people may want something more complex, Yeah. But if you want something where you can add a very simple module here, a simple module there, a simple module there, I think you're really going to like this. And I like that about it.
Yeah, I agree. And this is one of those games that you can just jump in if you want full, both feet in the
Right. The first time we played this game, I just said, we're going to do every module, Dean.
And I was like, please, no, I don't want to do that. You're like, we're going to do it.
You literally said, we'll do whatever you want.
There we go. I did. But it's not too much.
That's what you say most of the time.
It's not too much, but it...
And then I say, call me daddy.
Why? I don't get that.
Did I just mess you up?
Yep. You feel very uncomfortable. But but you can put it, you can do that at any pace you want. And I really like that. And even like... I don't have as much time. I just want to play a quick game after I get home from work or whatever. Just throw up the base game of this, and that might be totally well to suit you. But like John said, we don't really do final thoughts, but all those pieces, who's going to like these? People who might like racing games, people who might like intro games that can be modularized into a heavier game. People might like that.
Good art, good components.
Yeah, all of those things. So any of those things and just watching the gameplay, if any of that appeals to you, definitely check out the Kickstarter link that we'll have at the bottom in the description. And John, tell people how they can get in touch with us.
If you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. You can go to patreon.com/MeepleTown if you'd like to support what we're doing. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to our Patreon supporters for making content like this possible. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, go to patreon.com/Meepletown. To follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, find us at Meepletown Games. Finally, to connect with us and other residents of Meepletown, you can join Guild 3407 at BoardGameGeek.com. Until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.